here, and I am so excited to be joining you this week for another story. And I'm super excited for today's story because it is one of my favorites. So I was just thinking, with everything that's going on, I saw that the Navy SEALs are challenging kids to build forts and then take pictures of them and tag them. And so I was thinking about all of the different ways in which you can make forts and all the different materials. And so with, of course, permission from the adults in your home, I am going to challenge you today to see if you can build a fort. And I would love to see any pictures you have, what materials you use, and I will definitely post a picture of my fort. I love to build forts to watch movies in, or if I just need a space to be in the quiet and in the dark. Even when I was in college, I built a fort in my entire dorm room and invited everyone over to watch a movie. So for this week, I think it'd be super cool if you could build a fort and be an engineer. And my book today for you is one of my favorites. It is called Rosie Revere, Engineer. And I chose this book because, again, I was thinking about the forts and what it takes to be an engineer, and I think about all of the different people that we have working currently that are engineers who are coming together to try to figure out how can we manufacture more masks, how can we sanitize these masks for healthcare workers, what can we do as engineers to help everything that's going on. So I hope this book inspires you to also be an engineer with whatever challenges that you can come up with. So this is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. Have you ever felt shy in your classroom before? Maybe uncertain if you're wanting to speak or not? I know I have. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer's stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. So it sounds to me like Rosie's creating her own makerspace like we have at Neighborhood, where she's trying to find pieces of recycling or trash items that have already been used to be able to create new things. Another reason why I love our makerspace is we have so many materials, and I can't wait till we're back and we can use it. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. I wonder why she's hiding all of her projects under her bed. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye. She made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. I love hot dogs. That'd be so cool to have a hot dog dispenser. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head. From parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. Did you know that? Cheddar cheese spray keeps those pythons away. When it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled aloud. He laughed till he wheezed. Have you ever laughed that hard where you just wheeze a little bit? And his eyes filled with tears. All to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, truly I do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day, she kept her dreams to herself. Feel bad for Rosie. Must have made her feel really sad. See someone laugh at her invention that she worked so hard on. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-Aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked with building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she checked off her list, one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. Really love that line. Time never lingers as long as it seems. I know right now it feels like everything is so long. But it is April 1st. It is a new month. And hopefully time will continue to move by in a relatively quickly pace. That night, as Rosie lay wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." But questions are tricky and some hold on tight. And this one kept Rosie awake through the night. Have you ever had a question in your mind that just couldn't get answered, or you just couldn't get it out of your head, and you lay awake thinking, like, oh, I wonder if... I know I have a lot of those questions. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. How do you think how do you think she's going to make her aunt fly? What are your ideas? What do you think she's going to do? I think Rosie's going to channel her engineering self. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her Cheesecopter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. I love that she's bringing back cheese, and she had that cheese hat, remember, made out of the fan? And now she has a Cheesecopter, like a cheese helicopter. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Hello Cheesecopter sputtered and twitched. Oh no. I don't know if it's gonna work, y'all. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze in a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Looks like it didn't work. Do you think Rosie should give up? Or do you think she should try again? I think she should try again. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned around to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer. I feel so sad for Rosie. She's so disappointed. She got laughed at again. But who knows? We're not to the end of the story. This is not the end. She turned round to leave, but then great-great-Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next. Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The Cheesecopter crashed. Yes, said her great aunt. It crashed. This is true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew. Wow. Her great-great-aunt makes a really great point. It did do what it was supposed to do before it crashed. I wonder if we could extend that same grace to the things that we do. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. I just love that line. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear. Let's see those smiles. To dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 build gizmos and gadgets and door hickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. The end. So this is one of my favorite books, and I love to also read the dedication at the back. And so the author's dedication is to parents and grandparents, her specific parents and grandparents' generation, for doing what was needed and when it was needed the most, with gratitude. And so what I love in the back of these books, there's a lot of different books in this series I would encourage you to check out. So there's a little bit of a historical note, and so you can read all about what was going on during World War II, for example, here. They also have some books called Iggy Peck Architect, and so I would definitely challenge you to check that one out too. Thanks for joining me for Storytime today, friends. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Take care. Bye.